Hey everybody, it's Jen at Ink Paper Rubber. It took me a little while, but as promised, I am back and I want to show you the memory box and Poppystamps order that came in today. This is a mix of some favorites that came out earlier this spring, a lot of which we have used in classes, as well as some brand new items that we have not had in before. So let's get started and let me show you. I think I'll start off here with one of the older ones. This is a set that is quite old, and excuse me while I come over here and grab something I meant to bring. This one is called Resting Birds. This one has been around for a while. I am very happy that it is not discontinued because we use it all the time. And in fact, what I wanted to show you was that we had used it on our fairy jar that we did a class on a couple months ago. You can see there she is holding a little bird. And while I'm here, I'm going to show this to you because I do have some fairies to show you. So if you haven't seen that before, there that is. It does light up. All right, let's come back over here and show you what else we have. Oh, let's see. We got back in the Oceanside Lighthouse and Waves. This is a really nice die. We used this in a class here. I think this was maybe last week. You get the lighthouse and you also get the wave, both the background and the curly top part. You can see here we actually separated those instead of layering them on top of each other, so keep in mind you don't have to use them maybe the way they were originally intended. And you can see also on here we have some nice seagulls, and that is the Flying Gulls die that includes 4 birds on it. All right. Let me show you a few new things and then I will get back to the other items up there. This is a new one from Poppystamps that is really nice. It's called the Gentle Leaf Collage, and this is what I call a negative die. It does not cut out around the outside edges here. It only cuts these openings in here, and I do have some online samples that I will show you, including one of that one that maybe will make that make a little bit more sense to you. Have some sentiment dies here. These are not new, although I have not had them before. We have some various thank yous. This little one here. Here's one that's a little bit bigger. And then here we have it in Spanish, gracias. All right, now on to some of the new things. First, I want to show you, again, some more negative dies. This one is called the Starry Border die. And you could actually use this in a couple ways. One, you could use it to cut out of an opening and put something behind it, maybe some nice glitter paper behind it. But it also is an easy way to get some star confetti for adding to your cards or maybe using in a shaker card. This, I think, would be great for the 4th of July, but I think you can also use it a lot of other times besides just the 4th of July. This one is a really fun one. It is called a Bubble Burst, and you can see it cuts out the different size circle openings as well as just doing some, not really embossed, but cut-in work that doesn't actually cut anything out there with the little dots and the little lines. And I do have a sample online. I can show you how that works. I just think that one is really fun. I also think this one is fun. It is similar. It cuts out the different size dots and then just kind of the long stitching lines. That one I have some great underwater samples to show you with that one. Speaking of underwater, this fish family is so cute. These are all attached together. You could cut them out and put them as is on a card, or again use it as a negative. You just have the one little fish there by himself that cuts completely out separately. How fun are these two? These are part of their plush line of dies, and these are designed to be used with felt because when it cuts out, let me see if I can show you on the back here, see if we can get focused in there. You can see that it actually cuts out the stitching holes around it. I don't know, I'm having a hard time getting it to adjust in there, but it does do the stitching holes so that if you do want to stitch it together, it makes it really easy to do really nice even stitching. And this one does come with a number of different dies. It has 7 different dies included for the fins, and so you can do these nice scales here, the different scallop scales here. Don't have to cut it out of felt. You can cut it out of paper if you wish, but it makes, because of the stitching holes, it's great for cutting out of felt. Another one of their plush dies is this cute crab. He is really, really adorable. All right, let's get on to fairies because We have already done a lot with the Memory Box fairy dies, and they have some new dies out that are fairy related. So let me show you first, in addition to the fairy light up jar that we did a fairy card class, and this is one of the cards that we did, and it used several of the items we have here. It uses the Thoughtful Fairy, and it uses the toadstools and mushrooms, and it also uses the little dragonflies. And there did used to be 3 dragonflies on here, but they've fallen off along the way. But you do get 3 dragonflies in the set. In addition, to create the nice kind of forest scene there, it used these sets of dies. And actually, I am short one of them. If any of you have orders and you don't hear from me, I did have just a couple items in this order that were on back order. But what this consists of is it has 4 different tree scenes here that all work together. This is the largest one here, and again, this only cuts out these openings. It does not cut out the rectangle around it. Here is the next largest size, and I think I am missing the next size down, and here is, I believe, the smallest size. And so you can see here we've just layered them from the largest to the smallest back in the back, and it really gives you great dimension. Because we popped each layer up, it gives you really great dimension on that. A couple of other of the older fairy dies, you saw these over on the light up fairy jar, are the Posing Fairy and the Dancing Fairy. Another one that we have had in before is the Dainty Fairy, and we used her in this cute little shaker card with a garden lantern. The lantern is one of the items that is on back order. Hopefully we will have that in soon. And then finally this card, which did use the Posing and Dancing Fairy, and also the Dandelion stem die along with that we cut out of the glitter paper. All right, let me come around here and let me show you the new fairy dies that they have, because they have a lot of them. First up is the Nimble Fairy, and I meant to open this up. I am 99.9% certain that these are just like the other fairy dies in that the body and the wings cut out separately. And so if you look closely at that fairy, you will notice that if you use her without the wings, you have a ballerina. So that gives you double duty with your die. Whether you want to have a fairy or ballerina is up to you. This one here is the River Fairy, and you can see it's the same way. Without the wings, she becomes a ballerina. Here is the Graceful Fairy. She is posed the other direction from the Nimble Fairy. And these are all about 2.5 inches tall. Now this one here is much larger. This is the Nimble Fairy again, but this one is the large Nimble Fairy. And actually all of these dies come in both the regular size and the large size. This happens to be the only one that I have the large in, and it is almost 5 inches tall, so it pretty much would take up your entire card front. Here is another of the smaller ones. This is the Poised Fairy. You can see those really beautiful elaborate wings that she has. Then we also have 2 sets of mini fairies, and these are basically the other new fairies that I just showed you in a miniaturized size, and you get 3 of them, and you can see right over there on the right, I believe that is the Posing Fairy from a previous release, and the Dainty Fairy, and then you get 2 different sets of wings that you can use with them. The other mini set that we have here is the Magnificent Mini Fairies, and you see there those are more the ballerina style fairies along with a couple sets of fairy wings. The last thing that I want to show you is a new clear set that is perfect if you have any of these fairy dies. This one is called Fairy Greetings. It is only $4, and you get these 4 sentiments right here that are perfect to use with any of your fairies. All right, let me grab my tablet here and bring it over here so I can just show you a few online samples so you can get a feel for how some of these dies might work and things that you could do with them. All right, first of all, I mentioned the Gentle Leaf Collage, and I am not 100% certain. I actually think that looks like it has used the glitter inlay technique on this one, that they have cut it out of the top layer and put it on a double-sided sticky sheet and added the green glitter to it. If you didn't want to do that, you could also use some pretty paper behind there, or maybe a watercolor background behind there. Also keep in mind that if you cut this out, you can use it as a stencil, and so you can sponge ink on. All right, next up I have, this one is the Bubble Burst, and you can see here on this one they have just used it and added some butterflies over it. But there you can see it's cut out the different size circles, and they've just mounted it on some pink paper that shows through, and then you can see kind of the dots and the long stitching lines that is also done as additional accent. This one is the sheer circle trimming. I really like this one a lot. Here they have used it with a pretty watercolor background. There's also the fish family that they've used on there, and just cut that out and put the fish on there. And here is another one where they have used it the other way and put the whales on there. So it kind of definitely gives you a wave or water look with that die. Here is the plush funny fish, and just a different look about how you might do it. And this one, it looks like they've actually turned it into a pin cushion. All right, I'm not sure if I mentioned this one here or not. I think I may have skipped right over it. This is a die set called Fishtails, and there is actually a stamp set that goes along with it, which I ordered but is on back order right now. But if it's something that you're interested in, you might want to go ahead and order it. And you can see here is a sample of a card that they have done with it, and you might notice that bubble border in the background. That one I think is their Dibble Dot border, and I did order it. It's one of the ones on back order, so hopefully it should be coming in soon. And here is another one where they have just used the stamps and not used the dies to make this fun card here. Here is another one with the family of fish. I really like this one. It looks like that's maybe some glitter there behind that. I like how she's cut that opening in there to be wide at one end and narrow at the other, and put the glitter, blue glitter behind it, and the pretty colorful fish on there. So that is what I have to show you for the new memory box set. We are open for a little bit longer this evening, probably about another hour and a half. We do close at 6 tonight, and of course we will be open at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. And we are going to be open late tomorrow night. Tomorrow night we have one of our clubs meets at 6 o'clock, so even if you can't make it by 6, we should be here for a little while longer after that. Might be back here in just a little bit. I want to show you some samples of a couple card classes that we have coming up next week that you may have missed out on and might be interested in. Also, I don't know if I'll get this one done today, but if not today, tomorrow, I'm going to show you a sample of a magic slider card, which is what I'm going to demo for you on Saturday. All right, that's it for this go round. Have a great evening, and we'll talk to you soon. Goodbye.